Again, this is Boomer with Occupy Democrats. We have quite a whopper coming out of the ranks of America's top retired military officers this morning. But first, the beleaguered New York Times has declared Donald Trump dangerous and unfit to lead in a scathing op-ed this Monday morning. The paper has drawn robust criticism from the left for seemingly glossing over some of Trump's incoherent and dangerous statements in recent weeks. But its editorial board reissued thousands of critical words first published in July and questioning his fitness to serve a second term. The editorial board wrote, for the third time in 8 years, Trump will be nominated as the Republican Party's candidate for President of the United States. A once great political party now serves the interest of one man, a man as clearly unsuited for the office of president as any to run in the long history of our republic, a man whose values, temperament, ideas, and language are directly opposed to so much of what has made this country great. It is a chilling choice against this national moment. The Republican Party had an opportunity to renounce this vulgar man, and instead they submitted to him. Republican leaders have had many opportunities to repudiate his violent discourse and make clear that it should have no place in political life, but they have failed to do so. The New York Times goes on to write, in the 4 years since losing the election, Trump has become only more determined to subvert the rule of law because his whole theory of Trumpism boils down to doing whatever he wants without consequence. The case against Mr. Trump is extensive, and the board urges Americans to perform a simple act of duty. Listen to what Mr. Trump is saying. Pay attention to what he did as president, and allow yourself to inhabit what he has promised to do if returned to office. Nowhere will that opportunity be more accessible than tomorrow evening, when Trump and Kamala Harris square off in what is shaping up as a Donnybrook of a debate. I'd like to add my own editorial advice for viewers, and that is to have your own method of fact-checking handy, because one of the two candidates has a genuine aversion to the truth. And now for that breaking bombshell. 10 retired military leaders of the highest order have issued a public support statement for Kamala Harris, the first such show of military leaders in years. The statement reads in part that Vice President Kamala Harris is the best and only presidential candidate in this race who is fit to serve as a commander-in-chief. She has demonstrated her ability to take on the most difficult national security challenges, both in the Situation Room and on the international stage. From rallying our allies against Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine to standing shoulder to shoulder with our allies in the Pacific against China's provocative actions. The group included Admiral Steve Abbott, General Larry Ellis, and Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, John Estrada. And the statement went on to say, frankly stated, Donald Trump is a danger to our national security and to our democracy. His own former national security advisors say as much. He continually disrespects men and women in uniform, including wounded warriors and those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. At his core, he does not understand duty to country and self-sacrifice, and he should never again be allowed to serve as commander-in-chief of the greatest fighting force in the world. He failed over and over to take responsibility for his own role in putting service members in harm's way. Without involving the Afghan government, he negotiated a deal with the Taliban that freed 5,000 Taliban fighters and returned them to the battlefield. Then he left President Biden and Vice President Harris with no plans to execute a withdrawal and hardly any time to do so. This chaotic approach to statesmanship severely hindered the Biden-Harris team to execute an orderly withdrawal. Nevertheless, they were able to end America's longest war. The officer's statement on letterhead titled National Security Leaders for America ended with these words. Our service members and their loved ones deserve a president with the temperament and the track record to serve as commander-in-chief, one who is willing to make tough decisions, who takes accountability, and has our back. That leader is Kamala Harris. Well, the timing of this statement release no doubt was meant to bring the truth and the facts to bear ahead of what will surely be a volley of lies coming from the former president tomorrow night as he attempts to take on a woman of color, and a former prosecutor and senator who has tremendous momentum on the eve of this debate and who has an opportunity to deliver a huge political blow to Trump with a triumphant performance. This is Boomer, and this Boomer hits different with Occupy Democrats.